The desperate widow's mysterious offer. The baby's heart-wrenching crying pierced the desert silence like a sharp blade through Thomas McKenna's weathered heart. He jolted awake in his cold, empty bed, sweat beading profusely on his sun-weathered forehead, despite the bitter chill of the Arizona night. It was the fourth consecutive night that little Emma wouldn't stop crying, and Thomas feared with growing desperation that it might be her last night on this earth. His beloved wife, Sarah, had died just 3 days after childbirth from severe complications that the town's only doctor couldn't prevent or treat with his limited frontier medical knowledge. Now Thomas, a rough and hardened cowboy who knew infinitely more about horses and cattle than about babies, was left completely alone with a fragile infant who seemed to stubbornly reject everything he desperately tried to give her. "Please, sweet Emma," he whispered with breaking voice, lifting the tiny, precious bundle from her handcrafted wooden cradle. "Daddy doesn't know what else to do for you." He'd tried absolutely everything within his power and knowledge. Fresh cow's milk, carefully diluted with clean well water, sugar water mixed with precise measurements, even expensive goat's milk purchased from the neighbor's ranch 20 grueling miles away across dangerous terrain. Nothing worked at all. The baby would take a few desperate, hungry sips, then violently vomit everything back up, crying even harder and more pitifully than before. Thomas could see with heartbreaking clarity that his precious daughter was steadily wasting away, her once chubby face growing increasingly gaunt, her delicate skin becoming pale as winter moonlight. The small but comfortable cabin felt enormous and oppressively empty without Sarah's infectious laughter and warm presence filling every room with joy. She had been his guiding light in this harsh and unforgiving frontier land. The compelling reason he'd built this modest ranch in the middle of absolutely nowhere. Now every single corner reminded him painfully of what he'd tragically lost and what he was about to lose forever. Thomas walked slowly to the east-facing window, carefully cradling Emma as the first tentative rays of dawn gradually painted the vast desert landscape in magnificent shades of gold, crimson, and deep purple. The endless expanse of Arizona stretched infinitely before him, dramatically dotted with towering saguaro cacti and massive red rock formations that jutted majestically from the ancient earth, like prehistoric monuments to forgotten civilizations. "Oh, Sarah," he whispered desperately to the brightening sky. "I need help so badly. I don't know how to save our baby girl." As if his desperate prayer had been miraculously heard by some benevolent higher power, Thomas noticed a small figure moving in the far distance. Someone was walking steadily along the dusty, winding trail that led directly to his isolated ranch. He squinted hard against the brilliant morning sun and felt his weary heart race with a complex mixture of hope and instinctive wariness. It was definitely a woman, and from her distinctive, traditional clothing and graceful, purposeful gait, she was clearly Apache. Thomas tensed instinctively, his body reacting from years of frontier survival instincts. Relations between white settlers and the Apache tribes in this dangerous territory were extremely complicated at best, often turning violently hostile without warning. What was a lone Apache woman doing walking completely alone to his remote ranch? He watched with growing curiosity as she approached slowly and deliberately, her movements careful and clearly non-threatening. She appeared to be in her mid-20s, with long, lustrous black hair woven into intricate braids, adorned with small, colorful feathers and polished beads that caught the morning light. She wore a traditional Apache dress made of soft, supple doeskin, beautifully decorated with vibrant geometric patterns in red, blue, and yellow. But there was something deeply melancholic about her posture, the way she held her head slightly bowed, that spoke eloquently of profound, recent sorrow. The mysterious woman stopped respectfully about 10 feet from his wooden porch and slowly looked up at him with eyes dark as the midnight sky. Thomas could clearly see the distinct tracks of dried tears on her dusty, sunbronzed cheeks. "Good morning, sir," she said in accented but remarkably clear English. "My name is Ayana." Thomas nodded cautiously, carefully adjusting his grip on the still crying Emma. "Morning. I'm Thomas McKenna. Can I help you with something this morning?" Ayana's intense gaze shifted to the distressed baby in his arms, and something profound and fundamental changed in her expressive features. A complex mixture of deep pain and overwhelming longing crossed her strikingly beautiful face. "Your child is very sick," she observed quietly with unmistakable concern. "Yes," Thomas admitted reluctantly, feeling suddenly vulnerable and exposed. "I can't. I don't know how to feed her properly. Her mother died in childbirth, and she won't accept anything I desperately try to give her." The Apache woman took one careful, measured step closer. "May I see her, please?" Thomas hesitated for a long moment, torn between frontier caution and desperate need. But there was something genuinely reassuring in Ayana's dark eyes, something deeply maternal and infinitely wise, something that clearly understood profound suffering. He slowly allowed her to approach. Ayana studied little Emma with the practiced, expert eye of someone intimately familiar with infants and their needs. She carefully noted the baby's pale, almost translucent skin, her dry, cracked lips, the way her tiny fists flailed weakly in the air. "She is slowly starving to death," she said with sad but absolute certainty. "She desperately needs mother's milk, real, warm human milk." Thomas felt his entire world crumbling around him like an earthquake. "There's no woman in the nearest town who can." "I can help her," Ayana interrupted with gentle but firm conviction. The silence that followed was absolutely deafening. Thomas stared at her with wide, disbelieving eyes, hardly daring to hope or believe what he'd just heard. You can actually feed her." Ayana nodded slowly and solemnly, but fresh tears immediately filled her expressive dark eyes. "Just 3 days ago, My own precious baby died of a terrible fever. I still have abundant milk, much milk that my broken heart cannot stop producing." Thomas felt as if he'd been struck by powerful lightning. This woman's personal tragedy was absolutely immense and heartbreaking, yet she was selflessly offering to use her own pain to save his daughter's precious life. "I'm so deeply sorry for your terrible loss," he whispered with genuine sympathy. "Your beautiful baby can live," Ayana said with quiet determination, wiping away her flowing tears. "But I desperately need somewhere safe to stay. My tribe cruelly cast me out because I could not save my son. They say I am cursed and bring bad luck. I have absolutely nowhere to go in this world." The silence that followed was absolute. Thomas stared at her with wide eyes, hardly daring to believe what he'd heard. You can feed her?" Ayana nodded slowly, but fresh tears filled her dark eyes. "3 days ago, my baby died of fever. I still have milk, much milk that my heart cannot stop making." Thomas felt as if he'd been struck by lightning. This woman's personal tragedy was immense, yet she was offering to use her pain to save his daughter's life. "I'm so sorry for your loss," he whispered. "Your baby can live," Ayana said, wiping away her tears. "But I need somewhere safe to stay. My tribe cast me out because I could not save my son. They say I am cursed. I have nowhere to go." Thomas looked down at precious Emma, who had momentarily stopped her crying, as if somehow sensing that something monumentally important was happening around her. Then he looked directly into Ayana's eyes, this mysterious and compassionate woman who had appeared like a heaven-sent angel in his darkest, most desperate hour. "If you can truly save her life," Thomas said slowly and deliberately, each word carrying the weight of his entire world, "then please stay here with us. Stay as long as you need, as long as you want." Ayana's dark eyes immediately brightened with the first hope she'd felt in many days. "You would really do this for me, even though people will certainly talk and judge." Thomas thought deeply about his beloved Sarah, how she had always seen the very best in all people, regardless of their background, race, or circumstances. He thought about innocent Emma, who would surely die without immediate help, and he thought about this incredibly brave woman who had lost absolutely everything but still had boundless love to give. "Let them talk all they want," he said with firm conviction. "My daughter desperately needs to live, and you need a safe home." Ayana smiled genuinely for the first time since arriving, completely transforming her entire face with radiant beauty. "Then please, let me try to help her." That first blessed morning was indeed nothing short of a divine miracle. Thomas busily prepared strong, hot coffee in the kitchen, while Ayana settled herself comfortably into Sarah's beloved rocking chair by the large window. With incredibly gentle, expert movements born of natural maternal instinct, She patiently helped little Emma latch on properly and feed. The baby, after 4 endless days of rejection and suffering, finally found exactly what her tiny body desperately needed. "Look carefully," Ayana whispered with reverent awe after several peaceful minutes had passed. "She is completely peaceful now. She knows she is safe." Thomas watched in absolute amazement as his precious daughter relaxed completely for the first time in what felt like years. Her breathing became deep and naturally regular. Her tiny muscles unclenched from stress. And for the first time since Sarah's tragic death, Thomas saw true contentment and peace on Emma's angelic face. The following days passed in relative tranquility that Thomas had forgotten could exist. Ayana fed Emma faithfully, every few hours, around the clock, cooked incredibly nourishing meals using aromatic desert herbs Thomas had never even tasted, and cared for the baby with infinite tenderness as if she were her own lost child returned to her. But Thomas, with his years of frontier experience, knew deep in his heart that serious trouble would inevitably come soon. Silver Creek, the nearest town 15 miles away, wasn't known for its tolerance toward Native Americans. Sheriff Morrison, a stern man with graying hair and tired eyes, appeared exactly on the 3rd day as Thomas had grimly predicted. "Morning, Thomas," he said in his official voice, dismounting from his dusty horse. "Heard some interesting rumors that you got yourself some help with the baby." "This woman represents absolutely no threat to anyone in this territory," Thomas said, firmly and protectively, positioning himself between the sheriff and his front door. "She's simply helping care for and feed my daughter who was dying." The following week brought a steady and increasingly hostile stream of curious visitors to his remote ranch. Dr. Henderson came ostensibly to check on the baby's health and development, but Thomas knew he really wanted to investigate the persistent rumors about his mysterious health. "Child is remarkably and dramatically improved," the doctor admitted with obvious professional surprise and confusion. "She's gained significant weight. Her color is excellent and healthy. She's alert and responding normally." Thomas knew with growing certainty that his feelings for Ayana were developing far beyond simple gratitude for saving his daughter's life. The tender way she sang hauntingly beautiful Apache lullabies to Emma, how she cooked with fragrant herbs that filled their home with wonderful aromas, how she found delicate wildflowers to brighten their simple wooden table and make their house feel like a real home again. One peaceful night, exactly 2 weeks after Ayana's miraculous arrival, Thomas found himself unable to sleep peacefully. He discovered her sitting quietly by the window, gazing thoughtfully at the brilliant stars while gently rocking baby Emma. "Can't sleep either?" Thomas asked in a soft whisper. "Nights are still very difficult for me," she replied with quiet honesty. "Too many painful memories of my own precious baby." Thomas sat across from her. "Your husband, was he violent toward you?" Ayana's eyes filled with pain. "After our baby died, his grief became anger. He blamed me, beat me, said it was my fault the spirits cursed us. You're safe here, Thomas said firmly. Thomas, Ayana said quietly, there is something I must tell you. It was not chance that brought me to your home. I knew your wife. Thomas's world stopped. What? Sarah, 2 years ago, she got lost in the desert while pregnant. My tribe found her dehydrated and in premature labor. We cared for her for 3 days. Thomas couldn't breathe. Sarah never told me. We made her promise not to speak of it. It was dangerous for us if whites knew our location, but she and I became friends during those days. She spoke of you, how much she loved you. Tears ran down Thomas's face. Why didn't you tell me this before? Because I wanted you to accept me for myself, not because of Sarah. But when my baby died and I was cast out, I remembered Sarah's words. She made me promise, if something happens to me, watch over my family. Thomas felt as if he understood everything for the first time. Sarah had been connected to Ayana in ways he never could have imagined. Sarah told me her greatest fear was dying in childbirth and leaving her baby motherless. I promised that if she ever needed help, I would be there. Ayana, Thomas said softly, would you stay? Not just until Emma grows up, but forever. Ayana's eyes filled with tears of joy. Do you mean it? Completely. This house needs a mother. Emma needs a mother. And I need a wife. The next morning, Thomas made a decision that would change everything. He dressed in his best clothes and asked Ayana to do the same. Where are we going? She asked nervously. To town. It's time everyone knows you're part of my family now. In Silver Creek, their arrival caused immediate uproar. Thomas walked straight to the church where Pastor Williams was sweeping the steps. Morning, Pastor, Thomas said clearly. I want you to marry this woman and me. Today. The silence was absolute. Someone shouted, he's lost his mind, from the crowd. This woman saved my daughter's life, Thomas declared. She's brought peace to my home, and I love her. Mrs. Henderson pushed through the crowd. Thomas McKenna. You can't marry a savage. This savage has shown more Christian kindness than many of you in years, Thomas replied. She cared for my wife when she was lost and dying. Now she cares for my child. Your wife knew this woman? Dr. Henderson asked, stepping forward. Sarah spent 3 days with Ayana's tribe when she was lost 2 years ago. They saved her life. Ayana promised to watch over our family if we ever needed help. A murmur of surprise rippled through the crowd. Sarah's disappearance was well known in town. Ayana finally spoke. I understand your concern. I am Apache. You are white. We have been enemies, but love knows no color. Thomas and his baby needed help. I needed a family, Pastor Williams looked at Thomas, then at Iona, then at the baby sleeping peacefully in her arms. "If this is truly what you want," he said slowly, "then I suppose God's love doesn't discriminate." And so, under the Arizona sun, with a crowd of reluctant witnesses, Thomas McKenna married Diana, the Apache woman, who had come to fulfill a promise and stayed for love. The ceremony was simple but beautiful. When Thomas kissed his new wife, Emma woke and smiled, as if she knew she finally had a complete family. Years later, Emma would tell the story of how an Apache promise and unexpected love created the strongest family in the territory. She would tell how her mother Ayana taught the town that compassion has no borders, and how her father Thomas proved that true courage lies in opening one's heart. That morning, as they walked home as a new family, all that mattered was the present. A healthy baby, a man at peace, and a woman who had found the home she'd always been searching for.